Well, it's a Christmas time episode here of our Pick Five, late Pick Five analysis. Saturday, the late Pick Five starts in race five at Laurel Park, 12% takeout. John Piassek, Mackenzie Pfeiffer. Hey guys, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well, Frank.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Very, very merry time of year. So hopefully we can keep the joy going with these late pick fives.
Let's make it a merry time of year and let's see if we can cash some tickets. You know what? A million years ago, I owned a horse that won like right before Christmas and paid like $80 to win and topped like an $800 exacta, and that was a Merry Christmas. So let's see if we can do something like that here. We're gonna, again, as we did last week, John and I just sort of focus on a handful of key horses rather than going into depth about the entire thing. So the fifth race, you guys, I think, love for the six, the seven. One of you has the three. I got the five, but basically the seven is the horse I think everybody's sort of landing on. This is a two other than going 5.5 furlongs. The seven is Peak of Chic for Michael Moore. Just missed against similar last time out. Mackenzie, any quick words on this one?
I like Jamie Rodriguez on board here. Second off with the layoff does a lot for me. And I think took on good company last time out, closed really well. Two bullet works going into that. I thought they just kind of maintain her and she's going to continue to improve here today.
John, anything else on this race?
Yeah, I mean,
Quickly.
as Mackenzie said, if Pico Chic moves forward second off the break, she'll win this one pretty easily. I do have a little bit of room to maneuver on my ticket, so I did throw in number six, Cause You're Pretty, who ran some nice races at Finger Lakes this summer and has good tactical speed.
The Flakes. Love it. All right, on to the sixth race here, which is a starter optional claimer. John, you're gonna single here. This is gonna be one of your key horses. I think it's a key horse for you as well, Mackenzie. Talk about anonymously, John.
A key horse, not just for me, but I imagine for a lot of people playing the pick five. She is 7-5 on the morning line, and in all likelihood is going off at a lot less. She won at this level last time out back on November 15th. On paper, not a huge effort, only won by a half length as the odds-on choice after winning for a $30,000 tag. But I thought that was a much better effort than it looks on paper. She was in the midst of making a big move at the top of the stretch. Andre Chavez tried to put her through a hole that really didn't exist, and she got kind of knocked around while in between horses. It impeded her momentum a little bit, but she did make her way through. And once she got into clear, she was absolutely flying. If she had clear sailing at the top of the stretch, she probably wins by 3 or 4 lengths, and her figure and her overall form looks a lot better going into this race. Brittany Russell, who is winning at an extraordinary 35% clip at this meet, claimed her out of that race. Sheldon Russell gets aboard. She is the consistently fastest horse in this field, loves this track, already beat some of these last time out. I think she's pretty clearly the one to beat.
All right, she ran for 32 back, ran for 12.5 last time out, won again, back in for 12.5 off a little bit of a little rest here. Mackenzie, I think you're going to use Utterly Enchanting a little bit as well.
I use her in here because they come out of the same race. I didn't feel like she necessarily had as much trouble through the stretch, but I liked the effort that she put in. She just kind of ran her own race, and that was Toledo letting her be in her own place, be comfortable. So I think third time getting back on her here. I think we're going to see a consistency as far as the improve goes. We've seen that the last two times with him. I also like that she gets to go the 3/4 here today. Last time was the 5.5. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference for her, but I think she can stay on pretty well, and the numbers she's running stack up really well with the pace today.
I will jump in just quickly. I'm going to use Tamchar a little bit. Beat Lesser last time out for Mike Gorham. Gorham's been he's been doing fairly well at the meet, 16%. He's 17% jumping horses, up 50% in claiming price, with a pretty good ROI. So I feel like this is a horse that's arriving in good form, and races like this, they go to form. It's these aren't really class races; these are form races more than anything else. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. We saw how well that worked out last week. So
I agree with you there, though. I worried she might not be the quickest, and if she just gets shuffled around too much, but I really like her in the spot. And if you can get somewhere near 15 to 1, I'd have a hard time leaving her off.
All right, good. We like prices. So, all right, that's the sixth race, leg two of the pick five rather. Leg three is the seventh, the Gin Talking Stakes. This is 2-year-old fillies going 7/8 of a mile. And John, it's all Caprice for you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you are not going to single Caprice in here, you might as well never single anybody ever. She is a four-time stakes
Wow.
winner, a very impressive feat as a 2-year-old, looking for her fifth here, and she really hasn't broken much of a sweat in any of her one-turn races. Her only bad career race came when she tried to go 1 mile in the White Clay Creek 3 starts back. Last time out, as the favorite in the Maryland Juvenile Filly Stakes, she was battle tested. She was pressed the entire way by Save Trust, who never let her have an easy lead, but Caprice never broke a sweat, kept her at bay the entire way, and pulled away late, won by a length and a half on the Brisnet scale, ran 89, just missing her career top of 90. No one else in this field has come close to that mark in a long time, so they'll have to both step up by a few points, and Caprice will have to regress by a few points in order to lose his race. Caprice had a very good 5 furlong workout the other day at Fair Hill. J-Rod keeps the mount, should make the rail and the lead from post 4, and from there, it'll be another notch in her belt and another line in her resume and route to the Pennsylvania bred 2-year-old filly championship.
Now, Mackenzie, let me ask you this. You're also singling Caprice, and obviously Caprice is going to be the strong favorite and probably should win, but no love for the 5 horse Beyond Belief, who in just her second career start was beaten a length by Caprice.
I can't really go against her too much there. I just kind of I I agree with you. I think this is one who's really interesting. I actually lean a little bit more towards the outside horse and Not Too Late. I just wasn't sure if the 5 Beyond Belief has really developed the tactics quite yet, but has run really, really good races. So I have to give her a ton of credit there. I liked that we saw the willingness last time out, but I thought Not Too Late is one who we could maybe just see an improve if this one's able to stay settled and really run along with things. I'm not sure if she edges them out, but I felt like we've had some green efforts there and
Mhm.
she's on the right track.
All right, so a lot of love here for Caprice, looking to go 6 for 7 this year. So Golden Lad Filly had all sorts of excuses in the one defeat that she had in the White Clay Creek when she got away badly, was wide all the way around the track, just sort of a mess. So anyway, Caprice, there you go. All right, on to the eighth, the Heft, 7 furlongs, 2-year-olds. Pretty much the same group of horses, probably going to do this again in about 4 weeks at the exact same distance in the spectacular bid. So it's the spectacular bid preview day here with the Heft. And I think Mackenzie, we got one of your key horses here. And if I could just little love for Crab Daddy coming from the outside.
I think this is a really interesting horse. Not as much as far as efforts go. We only have these 2 starts, but I think has been pretty convincing. Answered some big questions in the Pennsylvania nursery where this one got in a little bit of trouble. Nothing too dramatic, but just the amount of ground he gave up when they were coming around the far turn, I thought was really interesting that they immediately put this horse back in the race. And you don't see that very often where a horse is involved with the pace, gets backed out, has to rebid and does so convincingly. I thought, okay, ducked into the inside and was able to save ground there, but really put on a sustaining bid and just kind of drove by the pace. So I give a lot of credit to the horse on that effort, and I'm excited to see what we get with him coming back to Maryland.
Yeah, I'm with you. The horse he beat there, the Boys Warrior, was 3 for 3 coming in, had won the Whistle Pig Stakes by a pole, and then had won a stake on the synthetic. So looks to be a real horse. And I love the way Linda's handled this horse. I mean, it feels to me like they had the Pennsylvania nursery on the radar from day one. You come in, You run in a maiden 45, finish second, pretty good effort. Looks like a horse that'll win the maiden. Not deterred at all, go right to the Pennsylvania Nursery and win that one easily. So shows back up here. I really like the way they handled this. Now, John, you're going wide in this one.
I went six deep here, and I went six deep in race 9. And that's what's nice about finding singles at some point in the sequence is now I've given myself enough room to maneuver in the other legs. All I got to do is really be right twice with Anonymously and with Caprice. And as long as any kind of logical outcome happens in both here and race 9, I'll hit the pick 5. And that'll be a nice late Christmas present.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So I guess it is a pretty wide open heat. Did you use one man team, Brittany's horse? Did you guys both use Brittany's horse?
Yes, I did. I thought he ran a very nice race on debut. He was pressed on the pace, kicked away. I don't think he'll be worth what you're going to get on him, which is probably 9 to 5, 2 to 1, or thereabouts. But I couldn't toss him out because he does have, as all Brittany horses do, a very high ceiling.
Same for you, Mackenzie.
I do. I really like the horse. I think his way of traveling, if you watch that race, he's kind of a grinding type. So he's one who I'm happy to see him getting a touch more ground. I almost feel like it was just his way of traveling that made me think like, 2 to 1 morning line, we're not going to get much. So I really insisted on having some other value in here. I didn't go quite as wide as you, John, but I really would like to. I think it is that kind of a race. I really like the 2 Barbadian runner. Blinkers go on, Forest stays there. This is one who I've silently cheered or quietly cheered for. And I think we've seen some big improves. He's answered some really tough questions. So if he can just get that little bit of help with the blinkers, I think he could run a big race.
Yeah, it's interesting you guys haven't mentioned the horse who I sort of suspect may actually go favored here, which is Sacred Thunder for Gary Capuano. This horse was it doesn't really show up in the short comment. Pretty troubled trip last time out in the Maryland Juvenile. He was steadying along for quite a while in that race and was kind of out of horse finally at the end. Torrealba's been winning in bunches. I think he probably goes favored over the Brittany horse, given the stakes wins, given the 81 Beyer he's recorded. But we'll see how that plays out. But obviously, this horse is very live in this spot, I would say.
No. So, no doubt about it, especially because I actually picked him on top, spoiler alert, in my written analysis. I really liked his win in the James Lewis, where I had kind of disregarded him as it looked like a pretty salty field on paper, but he did get up and win by a length when he had clear sailing. As you said, he had a tough trip last time out. Should have much smoother sailing in this spot.
All right, let's head to the ninth here. 12-5 claimers to close it out, going 5.5 furlongs. And Mackenzie, this is one of your key horses here, the 2 horse for Kieran McGee, True Sunshine.
Yeah, I felt like this is a horse who last time out had a lot of work to do, stayed really, really comfortable and pretty game in answering the question, put some pressure on, dug in, and just kind of kicked by. I could have given the excuse if this one faltered a little bit, but I felt like she really stepped up to the question. And, going back to some of the thoughts I had the end of November, I thought this was a horse who had had some tough trips between the muddy track and traffic since being claimed. And I thought really figured and was coming into the right spot. So we saw that last time out, and I think we can probably see or continue on with that and get another trip similarly.
Well, another thing too with this one, this is the one of those hybrid conditions, never win 3 or 3-year-olds. And in those races, 3-year-olds have an advantage if they've already won out of the condition. And she's a 5-time winner going against some 2-time winners here. And that's a pretty if you got the right horse to take advantage of that, it's a really nice condition. And if you have the wrong horse, you could get stuck there forever and ever. And I say this as somebody who owned a horse that was stuck at this condition for ever behind, the same group of 3-year-olds. He ran second, he ran third, he ran second, he ran fourth, he ran second. Oh, maddening. So anyway, that's just me. John, you go 6 wide here again, you said. So you're not sold on True Sunshine.
I picked her on top, but I don't think she's a cinch by any stretch. And the three horses who I didn't use are 30-1, 30-1, and 15-1 on the morning line. So as I said earlier, all I got to do is get into this leg, and with any sort of outcome that isn't completely out of left field, I'll hit the late pick 5. Do want to note also, going back to what he said about conditions, all 6 horses I used in this race are 3-year-old fillies, and all of them are multiple winners. So I'm taking advantage of being able to stay in here multiple times. One long shot I kind of like, who I want to give mention to, is number 4, Pinot's Little Girl, 10-1 on the morning line. Showed very sharp form on the synthetic track last winter at Turfway Park. Won on the grass from just off the pace, showing a solid late punch in early May. Makes her first start since early June. I'm interested to see how she does first off the bench.
She is a little bit interesting. I looked at her a bit. She's run mostly turf and synthetic, but her dirt races have been against better, so it's a little hard to compare, but they aren't bad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and in a race like this where I think it's pretty wide open, if you get a decent price on her, I'm not going to talk anybody off betting, a 12, 15-1 shot or so to win. And down the road, I mean, all I'd look from her is just to show a little bit of something, and then nest out. She could be an even better bet with that race under her belt.
Yep. All right. Mackenzie, you got final thoughts on the late pick 5 at Laurel?
No, I think I like the way that you were able to get brave and have those singles in here, because these last 2 races do feel like you do need to spread a little bit. So definitely looking for a bit of value where you can. I think the 9th race is one you might be able to find it. So I wouldn't be shy there.
John, last thoughts?
Well, it's all about finding those singles. In Brittany, I trust. In Caprice, I trust. I just need those 2 to get home, and then somewhat logical outcomes in races 5, 8, or 9, and I'll have hit the late pick 5.
Yeah. We keep saying that, John, and we keep not hitting.
We do keep saying it, but at least I can sleep soundly knowing I have good ticket construction. Like, I'm not just like totally firing off nonsense. I'm like, well, at least I'm placing a fundamentally sound bet, and really, that's almost as valuable as money, right?
Right, exactly. That's how I felt. Last week, one of my key horses was Call Another Play, who, at about the 5/16th looked like a potential winner at 60-1. So, okay, finished second to last and got beat a pole, but I had a little thrill there. I felt pretty clever for the majority of the race. So.
There you go. Along with that,
these things happen. You put long shots, and you usually lose. So, all right, well, that's going to do it here for our post-Christmas chat on the late pick 5. Late pick 5 starts in the 5th race at Laurel on Saturday. Again, 12% takeout. Post time for the card, 12:25. 7th race is the Gin Talking. 8th race is the Heft. I think that's going to do it. Good luck, guys.
Best of luck.
best of luck.